Hello everybody. Okay, I made up my mind. I tried on Zoom and I tried on YouTube, but as I hear more things about, this accessibility or any kind of, because Zoom is installed on Canvas, okay? So if Canvas does not act right, that means we don't have access to Zoom, okay? So, and I am going to have a problem with the recording with Zoom. So what I'm going to do is the old method. That is the most reliable one. I'm going to videotape everything on my camcorder, and once I finish taping, and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube. Everybody has a very consistent access to YouTube, and you can find me. Okay, you type in my number. My name, and it will give you. Or you just give, when I give you the access, that the link, you subscribe my channel, and then you will not lose me at all. Okay, you can find me in this universe. All right. So. Sorry. Today we start a new chapter, and that is completely different. Yes. And this is going to be the main body of the final exam. Yes. As I said a month ago, I'm not going to make it just completely cumulative exam for the final. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So how much is cumulative? Yeah, that is, I have to still work on details, but this is the main body. Okay, so do I give you enough reason to study and stay focused? Yeah, I hope so. Okay, final exam is a big one. All right, yes. So today, start with the money. The mathematics of finance, interest. Okay, so this is a big picture I want you to look at. So let's say you deposit money. Okay, I want to use green, but the green doesn't give good. Okay, it's better? Okay. You are going to deposit money. Or you can use the word invest, doesn't matter. Okay? What's going to happen? You put it on here, all the scenarios we are going to work on over here is, once you deposit your money, you are not going to withdraw until some specified time. Okay? So no withdrawals, just leave it alone. So while the money is sitting in the bank, so to speak, you are going to earn interest. Okay? So you are going to have some kind of balance at the end. Okay? So this balance, okay, this is most just a common term, and I'm going to switch this one to our finance term. The very first amount of money you deposit, we call this present value. By the way, if you have a calculator, well, this time your calculator should be able to handle, well, this x to the y kind of, the power. Well, most of you had a calculator. When I verified for your combination and permutation stuff, everybody was able to do, factorial stuff. If you can do factorial, yes, you can do these things, okay? And especially some people, the calculators are for finance, and then you are going to see present value in the key, okay, somewhere. Present value, and then you are going to add interest, correct? I'm going to use as int, and then that one is going to give you the balance in the future time, all right? So we call this a future value. Okay? Present value plus interest equals future value. So what does it tell you? Sometimes your big question mark is, how much of interest am I going to get? Okay? So for that reason, you may say interest is future value. I'm going to use just f minus the present value, p. F minus p gives you the interest you earn in the middle. Okay. Another vocabulary is, sometimes we say deposit, sometimes we invest. Okay. So and another thing is, Well, this theory applies to only your investment or for your deposit. What about when you borrow money? Yeah, we deposit, but most people, when you borrow money more than you deposit. Really, deposit is going to be over lifetime, for just little by little over lifetime. But your loan, borrowing money could be very, very large amount. Why? Imagine you buy a car. Right now, your car value can go above your annual income, whatever you have over here, okay? Or, guess what? The ultimate purchase, which is a house, right? So when you buy a house and you borrow money from the bank, that amount is huge. Most people, your annual income cannot buy the house, okay? So, in that case, and be different theories? No. Whether you borrow money or you deposit the money, you just flip the side, okay? Flip the table, but what we are applying is the same theory, okay? So first, I want you to feel comfortable with the vocabularies over here. And this compound interest, yeah, you are going to hear the word compound interest 1,000 times. Compound interest means it is not always the same. It's like things are compounding, okay? So that means as time goes, you get more and more, okay? More and more compound interest. But the number of interest period per year, in other words, how many times when you deposit, how many times you are going to receive interest from the bank. It's one time. If that is the case, that means the length of interest period. Yeah, I'm going to use just PD for period. Okay? Length of interest period. Well, that means the bank is going to give you holding your money and for 1 year, right? So that we call it just interest period. So just once a year, one year, the length is a whole year, and the vocabulary we are using is we are going to have compound interest annually, okay? Just once a year. If the bank, your agreement with the bank is that, okay, you are going to the bank is going to pay you interest twice a year. Twice a year. Therefore, each length of interest period is 6 months. Because everything is fitting into a year, okay? Fitting into a year. And 2 times, that means each period is 6 months long. The vocabulary we are using is what? They are going to pay semi-annually, okay? So interest period is 4 times. That means each time is what? 3-month period. And we use the word quarterly, okay? The compound interest is quarterly. And the 12 times, that means what? Once a month. That's why they pay you interest 12 times a year. So the length of interest period is 1 month. So the vocabulary associated with it is monthly. So 52, well, that is 52 weeks. Yeah, I know. So 52 weeks and plus a couple of more days, but we ignore that, okay? We ignore that and just we count 52 weeks. So therefore, length of interest pay period is 1 week, weekly. And 365, that means they pay you interest 365 times. That sounds very good, right? But each time is going to be so little, okay? So anyhow, it's going to be fitting into just a whole year. So interest, the length of interest period is just 1 day, and the vocabulary is daily, okay? So this one is important because do you use credit card? And do you have a balance on your credit card, okay? Or if you use your parents' credit card, the balance on credit card, you have to pay interest on that, right? The credit card company is calculating the interest every day. They update their system every day. So I think it's around like 2 o'clock if you're not access to credit card company website, and sometimes they are going to say, sorry, access later, okay? Things like that. So they update the account every day. That's what they do, okay? So vocabulary for this. Now, let's get, I wanted to compare two concepts and then start the book, okay? When you talk about interest, there are two types of interest. One is a simple interest. The other one is, we just talk about compound interest. The major difference over here is that simple interest is, okay, so let's say I'm going to put example. So you deposit $100, okay? $100, let's say for 2 years, and nobody is going to give you 10%, but I'm going to use 10%, okay? Because just to make your calculation easier and simpler so that you understand the concept, okay? So 10%. So let's say that means when you hear the interest rate, this is always per year for simple interest, okay? Always per year. And the compound also, always per year. We start from there. So look at this picture. You put $100 in the bank. This is end of year one, okay? Year one, end of in the year one. And your interest is 10% of this much money. So you add what? $10 for the interest. Okay, so how much you have in your bank? You have $110. Now going into year two. When you have a simple interest, it doesn't matter how much money you have in that, okay? So $110. So the bank will give you the interest on this amount or on your principal, on your present value. Yes, I use the word principal, yes. Yes, in fact, I have to introduce that. The first, I said earlier, present value, right? Present value is just many times just P, okay? Well, the synonym to this present value is a principal, like a school principal, okay? It is a principal. Either way, well, we have a P, okay? Big P. So that is, yes. Your principal $100. Yeah, this simple interest means they ignore this amount, just give you interest on this one again. So this time again, your interest is going to be $10. Okay? So the final balance over here is $120. So you start from 100 and over 2 years, add $20, and they became what? $120. We call this a future value, and we call this a principal or present value. Get that? Now going to compound interest. Okay. Compound interest means you may, as I said earlier, it's like you can have an interest period like 2 times a year or 6 times a year, okay? Those 2 times a year. So let's say make it simpler. So we are going to have, well, we are going to have just annual compound. So what does that mean? You have $100, same as before, okay? $100. At the end of year one, you are going to have $10 for interest. So how much you have a balance over here? $110. For the second year, you start to make a difference. When they say compound interest, that means they are going to give you interest based on this amount, not this amount. So it's better for you, right? So how much is interest is added? Yeah, 10% of $110 is $11. Therefore, how much have you at the end is going to be $121. So let's make a diagram here. $100 in 2 years, it becomes $121. You add interest to interest for 2 years, you add $21. Yeah, at this point, the dollar amount, the difference is like only $1. It's sounds pretty simple, small, but the amount was in the first place is not too big, right? Okay, and once a year, well, but still the concept is compound interest is they're going to give you interest on the most recent balance. Okay, so that's why it is getting more and more. I'm going to do this one semi-annual compound. Semi-annual. Or you don't need a hyphen. Okay? What does that mean? This means 1 year here. Okay? Year 1, year 1, year 2. Semi-annual, therefore you are going to receive interest twice a year. So it is a half a year, correct? Half a year is another half a year over here. So in half a year period, okay, again same, you deposit $100. You do not wait until whole year passed, okay, to receive $10 interest. No. What you do is, in 6 months, you are going to receive first interest. How much is that? Yes, we use the same thing, 10%. So 10% for the whole year. So half a year, you are going to receive 5% of interest. Yes, in other words, 10% for the whole year is divided into 2 portions over here. So each time you have 5% of interest. And then you may say, isn't it the same thing? But not exactly. So look at this. So in half a year, you add $5 for interest, correct? So you are going to have $105. And for the second half year over here, again, you are going to receive 5% interest, but this time 5% is on this. So how much is that? How much is that? That is $5.25. $5.25. So that gives you, by the end of year 1, you are going to have $110.25. So far this is the best option, isn't it? Okay, here 100, 110, okay, here $110.25. So keep going on. Now the next year, during the second year, again, you are going to have a 5% on this, and then you get something, and then you got another 5% of this, okay? So this is a concept of compound interest. So far, yes, it is very, very clear that compound interest is more favorable if you invest, okay? By the way, this is simple interest. Just imagine, there are banks out there. Some bank is using compound interest, some bank is using simple interest. Everybody would go to compound interest bank to deposit their money, correct? Okay? And the simple interest is not going to get any business. So this simple interest is just only for the theory, okay? Or if you borrow money among family members or friends, and then they want to pay some of the token of appreciation, then they may use this this simple interest. Otherwise, it's almost practically obsolete. Okay, what is more practical and the reasonable thing to do is a compound interest. All right. Okay. So this is a vocabulary and this is a concept. So as a rule, instead of a half year, what about quarter year? So that is the meaning of quarterly. So at that time, 2.5%, 2.5%, another 2.5, another 2.5, so add up to 10% for the year. But the more often you receive interest, That means that's going to be more favorable to you. That means you are going to receive more interest. Okay? If there is everything is the same, only difference is a compounding period. Yeah, the more often, that means the shorter each period is, the better when you invest money. Of course, when you borrow money, it's not, but yeah, let's just focus on when you deposit the money. Okay? So this is the difference in the concept. Now, I have to introduce you those words, I and R and M stuff. Okay. It's going to be throughout the chapter. Okay, we are going to have always the same thing. So P for the what? P for the present value. Sometimes just PV. Yeah, on your calculator you may see PV. That means present value. And F is future. Or you may say balance. Okay. And here comes R. R is the percentage, okay, that is annual interest rate. So if they say 6, R equals 6%. But when you compute, you cannot use 6%. So what you have to do? Yes, always switch to 0.06 like that. Okay? And the next thing is M. M is the number of periods, number of PDs in a year. Okay? A year. Number of periods, that's good enough. So that is, so for example, is annually, that means M equals 1, semi-annually, M equals 2, for example, quarterly, that is M equals 4, so on and so forth, okay? So daily, yes, means M equals 365. Get that? Okay, so that is M. So I'm going to reuse very often. Okay, monthly. M equals 12, yes. Quarterly, M equals 4, things like this. Next, the letter we are going to use is little I. Little I is interest rate per period, not per year. You see, this is interest rate per year. That's why it's an annual interest rate. So what you have to do, you are going to divide R into so many pieces. So that is M. Okay? So 6% semi-annually, that means 6% divided by 2. So that gives you 3% each semi-year, okay? Each 6 months you are going to have 3% like that, okay? So I equals R over M, again, always is going to be the decimal, okay? The next one is T. T is